What's going, guys? Zennosh here, and today in this video of Xross Chronicles, let's do the character review and analysis of Nangnak. She's the myth, the legend from the Thailand. Alright, she's a very famous ghost indeed, and obviously she's gonna be a yokai. Alright, right over here. So let's start with the basic details. Her role is going to be control type, so don't really expect a lot of damage from her. All she can do is try to control the mob in various sort of ways, which we are going to discuss a little bit later. And her distance is going to be mid-ranged. Her fusion is like 50%, that's alright. And at the max evolve level, breakthrough and potential reinforcement, her stats looks particularly like this. Alright, the attack is going to be 9,985, that is very average. Max HP is going to be 23,848, a bit above average maybe. And the defense is going to be 1,129. That's a lot of defense. Yeah, she can actually take a lot of damage, guys, right over there. And magic resistance is going to be 1,226, which is really good as well. So yeah, she's going to be a really sustainable unit indeed in terms of defense and magical resistance. All right, and now let's start discussing about her skills. So first, let's start with her basic auto attack skill. Okay, it attacks only one enemy. Okay, so it's just a single target, like attack, but she actually hits multiple times. Now that's really good. All right. Yes, she doesn't actually attack like multiple units at a time, but she does attack like 3 times an opponent. Okay, so that's pretty good, and it's a magic type of attack damage. Okay, and there we go. That's it. Now let's move on to her main skill, number 1, okay, right over here, guys. It's known as the Ghost Arm, okay? So what it actually does is that it attacks 2 enemies in the front range, all right, with 13,560 attack and pushes them away and binds them for 8 seconds, okay? So this kind of skill is kind of really good at controlling those kind of unit, which might actually be very problematic for you guys, especially those kind of melee units that are really trying to close up the distance and trying to be very fatal for your ranged unit, like let's say Ganglim, right? And with the use of your this unit, this character right over here, Nangnak, she will be able to push them right away. So that will kind of like give you like advantage against the tough opponents or really hard hitters, like let's say Overlord. All right, like Blue Dragon, or like let's say Phoenix. Okay, there are so many other units that can actually deal a lot of damage, and she can actually push them really away. That can be really good, especially for your ranged units. Okay, because ranged units are very susceptible to physical damage, and they can get very squishy at the same time, like Ganglim. Okay, so in order to protect them, she can just use this Ghost Arm. So very strategic move right over there, right? And what happens during the bind is that the units will be unable to move. All right, so there you go. And she can actually deal a very decent amount of damage, not really that great though. 13,560 damage is only, okay, as attack. So that's all there is to it, guys. It's just for like trying to push out the hard hitters to the back row and try to protect your ranged or maybe your squishy tanky units. All right, okay, there we go. That's it. Now let's talk about her second main skill. Okay, there we go, guys. Her second main skill, what it is actually gonna do is that, first of all, its name is Creeps, okay, and its damage type is pure. That means like it kind of like ignores the defense. Okay, it's kind of like fixed as well, so that's what I believe. And what happens is that with the Terrorize, it terrorizes like 5 enemies in the front range for 6 seconds. Okay, so any enemies right out there, like 5 enemies at the front range. Okay, and inflicts continuous damage of a total of 6,450. Continuous damage is not a really that great type of damage, but also considering that it's a pure type of damage, like it's like okay, kind of like considerable. That's what we can say, but it's not a humongous amount of damage. That's what I can really say to you guys. All right. So what happens during the Terrorize? Okay, during the terror, the enemy actually turns back and starts to run away. It's the same as like fear. Okay, I mean like the opponents will be fearful and they will start to like run away from you. But actually, she can inflict it on like 5 enemies at a time. So that is also really good, and it kind of like works in nearly the same way as that of her like first skill, being able to move the hard hitters to the back row actually just gives you a greater advantage, and it also like exposes those like squishy ranged units so you can really get rid of them right away, make a quick work of them. That's what I wanted to say. So there you go. That's pretty much it. Okay, so very good at controlling the units, and that's what she is really doing right out there. All right, and now let's move on to the passive. Okay, so what's gonna happen is that like with her sub skill 1 or her first passive, it's known as the Noble and Pure. With this one, she increases the magic resistance by 8604 for 10 seconds when your allies attacked while they are in the state of spiritualize. Okay, so I think this is the type of skill that you will be needing if you want to counter Ganglim or similar units like that who can pretty much spiritualize, because during the time of spiritualize you are pretty much like immune to the physical damage, but you actually take twice the magical damage. Okay, and that can make you very vulnerable as well, especially in the opponents if they have a lot of like magical units like Ganglim. Things can be really tough. But if you have this unit right over here known as the Nangnak, she will try to improve your survivability during the period when you are spiritualized, because like it kind of increases your magic resistance, so that means like you will be like taking lesser magical damage output. And also at the same time, what's gonna happen is that like when receiving a damage from the distant enemy like Ganglim, obviously he is a ranged unit as well, regains HP by 2928. So that's really good. So there you go guys, Noble and Pure is really a counter for the Ganglim. If he's really wreaking a havoc against you guys, like spiritualizing you guys and dealing a lot of damage, then you just need to have Nanglak on your team in order to just counter the massive damage coming from from the Ganglim. All right, and now let's move on to like the second type of passive skill, that is called the ghosting. Okay, it's a sub skill number 2. That's the second passive. What's gonna happen is that it decreases the enemy's magic resistance by 1430, and when allies other than yourself attack enemy and inflict magic penetration damage, in that time it inflicts the additional 22,350 damage. That's pretty good. So it's ghosting is sort of like a damage amplification process. If you have allies that can penetrate the magic defense, then they will actually deal some additional damage, and also at the same time she also reduce the enemy's magic resistance. That means with the magic like magic attacks, you will be able to deal very massive sort of damage output. And obviously she is going to be a very great partner for Ganglim as well. As you know, Ganglim actually does an AoE type of attack with his first skill, right? And with that provided, if he can actually deal some like extra magical damage output, wow, that would be really amazing. So she's gonna be a really great partner for Ganglim, and she's gonna be also a really good counter for Ganglim at the same time, or any similar type of unit like Ganglim. All right, which I really don't think there is, but if there is, let me know in the comment section below. All right, so what I actually think about her at Lost is that like she's not that type of unit with whom you can actually expect a lot of damage output. No, she's not actually gonna deal any sort of like very good or wonderful damage. She is really out there to control the units, especially the mobs, especially if there are like some sort of pesky units right over there who are actually very hard hitters like Overlord and Blue Dragon and Phoenix. You can just push them to the rear side, and you can just expose the squishy ranged units. All right, and then like you can just get rid of them right off the bat. All right, there you go. First skill and second skill is really for that one. And sometimes you might be over like crowded by the mobs, and you might actually lose the battle. But in order to just like how to say like pick the opponents one at a time, she's gonna really help you out. All right, so like yes, she's going to control the mob and trying to make your battle a little bit easier, which I think is gonna be a very good skill for the PvE contents, and it's gonna be a little bit good in the PvP content as well, depending upon the situation. Okay, so if there are like overloads on the opponent team, just try to use her, and yes, you will actually try, you can actually, you know, like get rid of those squishy units right off the bat, and then take care of the overload later on, you know, like just gang him up. All right, there you go. All right, so this unit, obviously I would love to rate her about like 7/10. That's all, not more than that one. I do not actually see like other sort of like amazing type of like support skills, like let's say stun, petrification, or whatever that is. Okay, any sort of skill that would really give you a better advantage against your opponents. I really don't see like those kind of things right over there. So just 7/10, and not really a good damage output as well. Okay, so that's all, guys. But if you have her, and if you have a really good magic damage dealing machine, a hero, a character like Ganglim, then she is definitely gonna be a really good addition to your team. All right. So there we go, guys. This is it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and please don't forget to leave your comments in the comment section below. What do you guys think about this character? Do you think that she is really that great and awesome, or is there something that I said like incorrect? Please rectify me. Please try to correct me. All right, if there is like some wrong information going on around. So see you guys in the next video.